And so welcome to Power Out Zoom Day. Our hydro went out. So I'm back now with Betsy, and we were just in the middle of, we had gone through our process, we got our art, and then we were moving from the art into the music. So my power cut out somewhere along the way. So let's go back. Betsy, what's next with the voice?
Right. So what I was saying is it doesn't necessarily have to be singing. It could be sounding like a percussion sound. In music for people, we call anything with our lips and tongue percussion, or the breath. And mine, my sigh kind of looks breathy. So I might just go,
Mhm.
and that's it. So then I want to invite my co-worker here, my co-worker, to sound hers in singing or percussion or breath. All right. So I heard some singing and some breath and some percussion. So lots of beautiful, rich sounds. And then from there, your voice, your sigh, your percussion, and your art can inspire you on your instrument. I'm walking into my music studio now, which is also my living room, and where I lead expressive arts and composition lessons. And I have this on my keyboard, and I have acoustic piano, which I'm going to use. So let's put it up here. So you put your art on the floor or on a music stand or on your piano. Sharon and I both are pianists, but you might be a clarinet player, flute player, and you just put it on a music stand or a stool or table. So I'm putting this on my piano so I can read my art instead of music notes. You can see it there with my piano. All right. So again, I'll go first because I'm the facilitator, and it often makes other people more kind of comfortable or give a sense of what we're doing. So I might use the idea of my sound, that breath and that sigh out. And also I'm looking at my art and seeing what it evokes on the piano. And I have no idea what's going to come out. I'm listening. I'm a listener. And again, I'm using my gesture, my whole body, my arms, and I'm trying to express what's there and here. And release. And I could go on. It's like the color. Sure. Yes, Sharon.
Yeah.
So then Sharon will delight in making sound, turning sound and art into music.
This is an old digital Roland D10 keyboard, which the moment has a couple of unusual sounds below middle C. So we have piano at the top and whatever that is in the bottom. So okay, I've got my art here on the keyboard, and
All right, tell me about your experience. How was that?
I've when I do this kind of thing, I do this in conferences where I'm listening to what's going on in conferences and play from there. And so I'm listening to this piece of art and going from there. And it's always that it starts out, I start out with, here's the feel of the spray. and then I'm in it. And it, of course, it isn't necessary because I haven't composed it. What I play is going to tell me something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I'm listening, I say, okay, well, this is where this is going now. And it isn't necessarily connected to, who knows, to what I think would be dogwood and sea spray and Apollini Patini, but and what I've drawn here, which may not even be connected. But that always happens. I start with okay, here's what I'm hearing in the image, and this is where it's going.
Yes, it's a place to start. The art can be a prompt, and you can end up with a title and a piece that maybe has nothing to do with the original words you started with.
You could wind up in a blues groove with a funk something salsa. You just, if you're listening, you just never quite know where it's going to go.
Yes, there's different ways to work. I mean, you can intentionally try to stay in the words and in the like mine was whispering sigh, pistachio, those words and these colors, and stay with that. Like this, this art to me evokes kind of a high tessitura, a high part of the instrument, a light quality. So I might think, okay, I really want to stay with that. And you could that would be a structure for yourself. Like right. Composers have structures, like they're going to do an A, B, A triple form. This could be like a form. I'm only going to stay up in the high part of my instrument, and I'm only going to play light. And it's going to be maybe like my poem or like a haiku. So you can travel and then come out the other end and then see where you come at, or you could stay there. So there's no right or wrong way. Like there's no right or wrong. No, it's just no. It's what you feel in the day. Yeah.
And you could come back to this. I could come back to this and then give myself a structure. Say, okay, I'm going to look at because I was going with this first. That was the first thing that spoke. I said, okay, let's go back, and I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to play around with this. What is that?
Yes.
Maybe that's the dogwood, spray, or maybe it's, whatever it is.
Yes, lovely.
Always, because it's improvised, right? It's never going to be the same thing. It's a prompt.
A few months ago, I wanted to do these expressive art pieces with pastels, which are very strong and great to work with on paper. And I wanted to compose from them. And I came out with two beautiful pieces. I was going to pull them up, and then I forgot to take them out of my stack here. I have a stack of other compositions, but I turned them in to compositions, and Sharon was asking a little bit, well, how do you do that once, the improvisation is great for the moment, and but if you want to save that or play it for a friend, you can do a fresh improv every time. It's going to sound different. But if you want to sound the same, and then write it down and give it to a friend and say, here, play my new piece. Yeah. Or I have a new piece I want to play for you, and you can play it the same almost every day. Then what you do is you work with a theme. Like if you play, like in mine, I started with a kind of a cluster sound. So I really like that idea. So you can stay there and maybe move it a little. Let's see, you're not going to hear me very well. Let's see if I can
that sounds okay. It sounds coming through.
Compose, you might just want to, usually I memorize a little part, Oh, I really love that. So I say, okay, I could go to the kitchen, get some water, and come back and play that. Because I have it memorized. So once you memorize it, then you look at your notes. If you know how to write music, like Sharon does, she could write those notes out and the rhythm out, and then she'd have the beginning of her composition. If you don't know how to write, you might want to record it to preserve it, or you might want to write a graphics. line, line, slash, line, line, slash, to try to remember, oh, this is what I did. Might be in a different place, but you have the same feel. Yeah.
Wow, Betsy. I love this.
Yeah, and then you have another piece of art because you write out your score, something like this. And I like to write on these big score sheets and little notes. And it looks like a piece of art. You could frame it, but you can also play it. And then you could get a gig and play your music at the gig, you know, say, oh yes, I can play for your wedding tomorrow because I have a piece of
this piece of music.
And then you earn money, see?
There you go. And finally, the arts makes money.
Integrated expressive arts, but yeah, see, we already feel higher. Like this makes me high, especially when I paint. I get very joyful. I can be very kind of down, and then as soon as I do the art, I'm uplifted. And I don't know about you.
I'm so thankful for this because I mean I do that. It's the same for me. You know, and I've noticed that I haven't made the space for that in as regular a basis, and to the point where a few weeks ago I just stopped everything. I couldn't, you know, I stopped working on the business. I had to pull back because I realized it was so badly out of sync. And remembering that making art right now, it's making art, writing. My piano's out of tune because I can't get a tuner in right now. But to remember that is so precious. And for those who don't have a regular art practice or regular music practice or regular dance practice, and they're thinking now, oh man, I'd love to do that. You know, it's a really valuable piece to say, all right, Friday afternoon, I'm just going to block off, you know, even if it's a 30-minute block and you've never done this before, and it's going to be some little notebook. You don't have to go out and, you know, buy all of the stuff. You don't need all the colors, but you might, you know, get a little 12 pack of pencil crayons and just move and just do this for half an hour and see and remember. It's really about remembering yourself and really going, oh, that's who I am. Okay. Yeah. I'm not social media. I'm not this. I'm not that. This is, whew.
It's a connector. It's a connector to yourself. And so often it's easy. I don't know about you all, but I can get disconnected quite easily when I'm out in the world. And I feel, you know, not so great. And so when I come back to the arts, it immediately brings me to myself, to my heart, where I just love to live. And I'm curious. I'm always curious what's coming out, you know. And then and a lot of times when I'm painting, I go, oh, so that's what I'm feeling today, you know, it gives me that visual. There's a beautiful quote from the Irish poet David White. Actually, he's a Welsh poet, David White. If you don't know him, look him up. He's incredible. Whyte. And he has a lot of beautiful words. But one thing he says is the discipline. The arts is a discipline of presence, of being in the moment, a discipline of presence. So if you think of that, it's like a meditation practice or a mindfulness practice. And he also talks about this journey being toward the authentic self. The journey is toward the authentic self. Always sort of all this neuroses we have. Well, maybe you don't have, but I have.
I think we all have it at some level.
And patterning we learned. The arts lives underneath all that. And I'm so surprised. I mean, sometimes I feel literally kind of depressed, you know, or lonely or whatever. And then I go paint something and it comes out and I look, oh my gosh, that's so joyful. How can that be joyful? And then I realize it's the underneath. It's a child self or the playful self or the self that knows it's okay at some level.
Right.
It's not all the thinking about yourself and all the thoughts about yourself. Yeah.
This has been fantastic. I mean, really, what a lovely way to start the Friday morning for us. Whenever you're listening to it, we're doing this at 10 o'clock Friday morning, and Betsy was saying it's hot as the dickens in North Carolina, and here it's in the 40s or 6 degrees Celsius, and it's raining and the end of May. And what a beautiful way to get my day going. Thank you so much, Betsy. This has been
Yes.
beautiful. And so
Thanks
for
for
those,
doing it with me.
oh my gosh, yeah. Hey, this is
It amplifies the joy and fun.
it does, because it's actually, we just did a little mini workshop. We just did
Yeah.
that anybody can now go and take and go and do on their own. But even better, I mean, the workshop that Betsy is doing is one of 17 different offerings, and some of them are really specifically training. Like yesterday, I talked with Alina and Allison. We talked about Improv 101, like where do we start improvising, whether you're experienced or not. There are, anyway, 17 different offerings of various kinds, from skill-based to expressive-based and deepening your practice and so on. And you can kind of come in and out during the day and find the ones that are working for you. So this, Betsy, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you pulling this together, and we can both now go and make art. And remember to remember the artist in, the child within, the musician within, that piece that sometimes, for many of us this past little while, has not been.
The child within is always eager to color and draw and create.
Man,
Yeah.
and play.
Mm-hmm.
And play and not care. And so we're all looking for that. So
Yeah.
Betsy, look forward to seeing you on June 12th. For everyone of you watching, it's Friday, May 28th. Today is, how many times have I said this? The early bird deadline is today. We do have grade aided tuition fees, so that if you need support, you can pay as a reduced rate and someone will support you. You can offer to support a whole person's tuition. We'd like to make this inclusive and accessible as possible, so no one gets left behind. We all get to enjoy this. Thank you all very much, and have a great day, weekend, wherever you are. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you, Sharon. Bye.
Bye.